Hi guys and welcome to today's video. Today is going to be a bit of an update video on my darling Wiggy. So I am going to give him a little brush while I chat to you guys about what he's been up to. So as I told you guys last year, his biggest issue is that he's very weak over his top line. I'll take him out so you can see. But really he's really lacking muscle on his top line and on his hindquarters. His neck isn't too bad, but really it's his back and hindquarters we really need to focus on and get really strong. He's such a lovely horse to ride, and he's so easygoing. Like, I definitely feel like he's the kind of horse you could just crack on, start jumping with. But I mean, I'm in no rush with him. I would much rather that he is really strong, feeling really good, really well muscled before he does any sort of like significant jumping or shows or anything like that. Currently, you know, he's jumped a couple of times under saddle. He's done a little bit of cross country jumps, just to let him see a bit of the world, but really he has not done a huge amount. What I have been doing with him is a whole lot of strength and fitness work. So every week his schedule is he does one day at the gallops. So at the gallops we do hill work. The gallop is actually one big long hill. So it's more about hill work than fitness with him. So he does a lot of trotting up the hill, and then he does some slow cantering in like a nice round, long and low outline. And then we do one gallop at the end for a bit of fun and a bit of fitness. So that's his, you know, every week he does that galloping. Another day of the week he does a hack. So around us there's not a lot of hills, which is why we go to the gallops. But there is a little bit of a hill a little bit down the road. So we do a lot of trotting on the road, trotting up and down that hill. And it's also just nice for their brain. Also, the safety in this video is not great, but he is very quiet. Don't try this at home. So he does his one day a week hack, good for his brain, good for his strength, good for their legs to do a bit of trotting on the road also. Another day of the week he does lunging. So on the lunge he does raised trotting poles, which again, really good for his strength, for his top line, for his muscles. I do it in a rope kind of training aid because his go-to kind of position and posture is for him to carry his head very high and to use the underside of his neck here to lift his leg, whereas I want him to push from behind. So because that's his natural posture and he's gone about that way for, you know, the first 4 or 5 years of his life while he was just in the field being a young horse, it means we have to kind of retrain him to use his body in a different way. So although obviously I would rather not have any training aid at all, he just needs that as a little reminder to stay a little bit rounder. And he definitely does find it hard to kind of push through those trotting poles, but that's why it's so beneficial for him, isn't it, darling? And then another 2 days he does flat work. So our flat work is all long and low work. I'll show you today what we've been up to. I'm going to ride him today and show you guys what he's up to. So yeah, he does a lot of long and low, you know, up off his back in the canter, trying to get him to use himself, carry himself, and stay nice and soft and build up that muscle and push, and especially doing circles, getting the hindquarters underneath him. And then one day a week he'll do some sort of jumping, but the jumping, like I'll show you today, it's, you know, a lot of strength training, like bounces and grids, nothing too big, because I don't want to push him when he's not strong enough, because he's so good-natured. He's the kind of horse who will try his hardest, but if he doesn't have the muscle to use himself properly, that's how horses get injured. So I want to make sure he's really strong and feeling really good before we push him to jump any bigger. So the plan for today is that we're going to do some trot jumping to fences. So trot jumping, I hate doing it. I hate it. I never know when they're going to take off. it just doesn't feel natural for me. But I am getting a lot better because I have to do it a lot with the horses. It's good for my riding and it's good for their training. It means that they have to push from behind. They can't use the momentum of the canter to get over the jump. They really have to work harder and use their balance, and it slows them down and it makes them think about things. So it's very beneficial for them and for my position. I just don't enjoy it. So I'm going to get him tacked up now, and I'll catch up with you guys when I am on him and warming him up, and I'll show you some of the flat work we've been up to. Good boy. So yeah, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm really not happy with his condition. We're missing a lot of muscle here, his top line. It's quite hard to see in the video, but I'm sure you can appreciate he's missing a lot of muscle. Really sloped here. Really doesn't have the muscle he needs to jump, so it's not fair to do anything with him until that builds up. The other thing I should say is that I got a nutritionalist out last week. She's made a whole plan for him, so we're switching around a lot of his feed. We're adding some things in. Hopefully it's going to give him the support he needs to build that muscle, in addition to the work we're doing, because it needs to come from inside. You can't just do the work and not give them the building blocks to build the muscle. So hopefully that will help him. Also, I will update you guys in probably a month or two and show you how he's hopefully improved, and at that point I'll let you know what we switched his feed to, because I want to make sure it works before I tell you. So funny story, this video is actually over a month old. I filmed it and then life got crazy and I never actually edited it, but I thought it was definitely worth posting, especially now looking at Wiggy over a month on from this. I'm so much happier with how he is. Full disclaimer, he's definitely not there yet, but we've made some big progress. So I will talk you through this, but yeah, watch it with the knowledge that this was the 8th of March, which is, yeah, quite a while ago. But this is him doing his bit of flat work, as I said, trying to just make it all long and low and getting him to lift his back and use his core and just work a little bit more correctly, because he does like to, you know, his natural head carriage would be to have his pole very high and his nose behind the vertical, which is absolutely not what I want at all. I want his pole low, I want his nose poking out, you know, working over his back, nice and soft. So what I do is, if he pops his head up, I just take a little bit of contact and a little bit of leg, and then when he softens his head downwards, I release the contact. So in an ideal world, I should just be able to trot around with basically no contact at all, and he just goes around nice and loose and relaxed. And yeah, that's how I try to ride all my babies. I just want them all to be really relaxed and, you know, just hacking along and taking it all in and listening to me and bending around the inside leg and, you know, moving away from the outside leg if I ask. He is such a good boy. Like, he's doing everything right. It just is going to take time to see the results and to build the muscle. He's a big horse, you know, he's nearly 17 hands and he's got big long legs, and sometimes I'm riding him around and it just feels like the legs are gangling and flying everywhere. But as he gets stronger, it's going to come, and already I can feel moments where it just feels so good and it's so exciting. He's definitely stronger on the right rein, so here I feel like you can see that it's a little bit more of a consistent balance and rhythm compared to the left rein. And also it feels better, which is a hard thing to convey on video, but it just feels a lot more balanced. So after some warming up, we do some of the trot jumping. So the pole is about, I think it's 2.5 meters away from the cross pole, and I'm just trotting, crossing the diagonal, and then trotting, and there's another cross pole on the opposite diagonal. So it means I can kind of just keep looping down in a figure of 8. This is good for, as I said, his balance, his coordination. The other thing that I found it was nice to do was to practice landing on the correct lead. So a couple of times he lands on the incorrect lead. He doesn't have his changes yet, and it's not something I'm going to ask him to try and do because he doesn't have the strength, so there's no point. So I'm just trotting and recantering, and once I do that a couple of times, he realizes, oh, I know which way I'm going to go, and he starts to figure out landing on the correct lead. So it's just a really nice way to make sure they're even on both reins. From this video, as I said, he's stronger on the right rein, and you can see that he consistently lands on the right lead on that diagonal, and then on this one he sometimes lands on the incorrect lead, which is the right lead. that is complicated. Basically, he just tends to land on the right lead, and that's just because he's stronger on that side, so he wants to. But so here you can see there he lands on the right lead, and I come around again and then he lands on the left lead. This is confusing because right, I'm not saying that like correct, I'm saying that like the right versus left. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm very happy with him, very, very happy with him. He was relaxed, he was calm, he was thinking about it, he was careful enough, he was pushing from behind evenly, and yeah, I could be happier, left it at that. It doesn't need to be anything too crazy. As long as he gives me a little bit of what I want, he gets a big reward, and I don't want to kill him and overwork him, so that's it. So that is the update on my Mr. Wiggy. So as you can see, we are definitely not there yet. We are still quite far away from how I would like him to look and to be going. He's trying his hardest. He's being such a good boy. You can see it on the flat. He's working really nicely. It's just time now. If you guys have any other suggestions for things to get him looking and feeling stronger and more muscled, leave them in the comments. As I said, I have the nutritionalist getting his feed plan going. He's doing the gallops, the hill work, the hacking, the lunging, the trot pulls. We don't really jump other than little exercises like this where it's actually, you know, building muscle and improving him. Like, I'm not just hooning him around jumping things. So yeah, I'm trying to do everything as perfect as possible for my perfect boy, because I love him so much. And I really think he could be a special horse, but we just need to get the basics right first, and then the success will come later. So I'm going to leave the video here. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time.